Hello, guys. This is us again, and we're in Kiev. Today is Sunday, May, whatever, I don't remember, but we're running a little behind. We're going to be doing today, covering Thursday, and then we're going to do a separate episode on Friday because there's so much stuff going on. But I just wanted to start since today is Sunday in Kiev and it is Mother's Day and they are celebrating Mother's Day. I wanted to wish all the mothers, all the women who are mothers or not mothers, it doesn't matter because all of us women have those motherhood feelings and we feel like mothers, all of us. And I wanted to wish Happy Mother's Day. It is very important, especially being here and seeing all these mothers and wives and it's just girlfriends and what these women, how strong these women are, what they're accomplishing, and in their honor, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. So that's my entrance.
Right. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I have to say that we are mostly communicating with women here. So it is a very interesting experience and very, very enjoyable. So happy Mother's Day. So we're going back to Thursday now, May 11th. And it was a very interesting day, very eventful. We went out of the city for a day trip with two gentlemen who later turned out to be TV uh, producers. And in their spare time, they have been doing a lot of volunteer work. And they specialize in a couple of things. One of them is providing temporary housing for those people who have lost their homes. And there are very, very many of them. They're also clearing out the rubble. They recruit movie actors and set workers and to bring them out and help out the regular people. And these two gentlemen, one of them is named Andriy, of course, because half of the country is named Andriy, including our son. And the other one is named Anatoly. They drove us to a nearby town called Makariv, a very small town, about 10,000 people or so. And that little town has suffered a lot. And the very first thing we did was to go and meet the mayor.
Right. And the mayor himself was a very interesting person. And in fact, the size of the city is very similar, including the county and all the surrounding areas that belong to the city of Makariv, is going to be our potential candidate for a sister city for the city of Calabasas. And I really felt very warm about the city and about the people and about the mayor. He's an amazing person and very calm. And he was telling us about the city and how much the city suffered. And right outside of the city hall, there was a Russian tank that was firing everywhere. The city hall was destroyed. And when I asked the mayor, so did you stay here during the occupation? The occupation did not really last long, but he said, yeah, I was here. And then he all of a sudden started showing pictures of himself on the destroyed building, all dressed as the soldier in the bulletproof vest and the helmet and with the automatic weapon. And it really brought everything into the perspective of how real this thing is.
So of course he was here. He was part of the militia that regular citizens picked up the old rusted rifles and basically defended the city. So there's a lot of information about what Makarev went through. We're not going to talk about it that much, but we'll show a few photos a little bit later. After meeting with the mayor, who was very receptive to partnering with the city of Calabasas, and hopefully we will see some fruition of these efforts. We went to the actual location where regular citizens of this town lost their homes. They were completely destroyed by the artillery fire, and they had no place to live. So these TV producers started to collect money and acquiring small temporary housing. One of them was about 180 square feet, another one a little bit larger, 280 square feet, housing anywhere from two to 5 or 6 people.
5 or 6 people, right? And it's interesting that these people, the producers, are of this. This is pretty popular, and actually, Zelensky came from that background as well. It's called Liga Smiecha, which is the League of Laughter. And their comics, they're very sarcastic, very funny, and very well known in Ukraine. And they are doing it. They're doing all this volunteer work. They're rebuilding homes. They're cleaning areas. They're clearing destroyed houses. They're actually, they took us to a playground. All the playgrounds were destroyed, most of them, and in the parks. And what they're doing is they're taking donations from actually local people, from Ukrainians that have means. So they're giving them money, and as well as foreigners, and they are using the money for temporary housing, or they are actually doing something. And we came to visit a playground that they're building, a brand new playground in a park. It's beautiful because right next to it is the leftover of the old playground. And believe it or not, kids are still going down the slide that has huge bullet holes in the slide. It's
And after that, we went to visit another location where a larger home was installed, temporary housing. A young woman, she looked very young, lived there, and she actually had 3 children, and her mother living in this temporary housing unit, about 280 square feet, and she told us her story. Tell us about her.
Well, her name is Marina. I think she's probably in her late 30s or maybe mid 30s. She seems very young. And she and her husband were running this, they lived in this huge house, and they have a very large land, and they were growing goats, and they were making goat cheese and goat butter and goat milk, and they had chickens and everything. And this is the new, before the war, this was the new wave of the Ukrainians. They were producing things of their own, and they would bring it and sell it at the farm markets and stuff like that. Very sophisticated people. She's actually a speech therapist, the woman. Anyway, she told us just a short story of how she evacuated. Her husband is serving. He's a serviceman. He's a soldier at the front line, but she's with the 3 girls and her mother and all these goats. They were told that they have to evacuate right away, and she had all these goats, so she said she didn't know what to do with them. So she said, and it's February, so she said, I just let them run. I just opened the gate from where they usually sit, and I let them run around. I set them up with a bunch of hay and water, and we left. And when we came back a month later, everybody told them that whoever visited the house said the house is gone and the goats are gone. They all died. But when she came back a month later, she came back to a completely destroyed house. There's nothing there, just a bunch of rubble. Nothing was recovered, but the goats came back, and the chicken were gone, and the baby goats, but the adult goats came back. So she actually is still making cheese. Producers of this League of Help now, called the fund. They when her house fell apart, what they did is they were not filming anything in the beginning. They took all their film crews and all the actors and all the people that are, usually you wouldn't find them going and doing stuff like that. they were taking them to all these little areas for some reason in this town, and helping to unload all this rubble. They were actually working, moving all the bricks and everything. And in thanking them, she sent them a whole thing, a whole round of cheese that we actually delivered to the filming spot, right?
So we actually visited the film location, and it was very interesting. We've never been to one, and so we saw them in action, and there were some famous people there as well. We're getting to the point where we're getting into 10 minutes already of this episode. We will do another episode on about Friday, which was another exciting day. So before we leave you, we'll say as usual, Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!